everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing why I chose the Air Force. When I started my recruitment process in regards to looking into the different branches and discussing kind of my recruitment with different recruiters, I primarily looked at the Army, the Marines, and the Air Force. I'm not sure why I didn't look into the Navy or Coast Guard. It may have been the recruiters were really hard to get to based on where I lived, or I was just aware that I don't want to be on a boat, and or I don't really want to swim that much. Now, before you start getting into stereotypes, I can swim, don't worry, but maybe from the beginning I knew I didn't want to be affiliated with boats. After leaving the Air Force recruiter's office and being open to the active duty idea, I think the next week I initially made contact with the local Army recruiter. And what I remember from that conversation is that it just seemed dull. Like I didn't feel like he was excited to be talking to me. So maybe it was just a mutual lack of interest. I then met with a Marine recruiter, which I don't know if it's worth its own video, but he gave the most amazing pitch I have ever experienced in my life. I mean, the Marine pitch, yes, it was totally canned. Like you could tell so much that was so rehearsed and so like beautifully packaged that he doesn't have to change it very much, but it was beautiful. Like it was an excellent pitch. It went something like this. In the Marines, we turn you from a boy into a man. We are a brotherhood. People who look out for each other, who care for each other, who go through the toughest things and come out stronger than ever with bonds that cannot be compared. We serve our country with everything we got, and we are the only ones who do what we do, for we are the Marines. If you're ready to become the man that you've always wanted to be, sign here. When he finished that last bit, like the question part, the question mark, and then the dramatic pause, this is exactly what happened. No, sorry, no, I'm not, sorry, hi. Because I couldn't say yes. I wasn't gonna just sign a line that day. So like, I had to say no. And it was so awkward because like the question was so dramatically provided and so well executed that I was like, and I said, no? And he was like, no? Maybe he has a really high success rate with that question. I don't know. The whole thing, like I said, was stellar. And I was either gonna join your branch or the Air Force at the end. But anywho, I guess now I can start getting into why I chose the Air Force out of the three options. Army was lackluster. The Marines were really, really cool. But something to note about the Air Force's office. Let's just go there. Why did I choose the Air Force? The Air Force recruiter, on the other hand, was chill. He didn't seem like he was trying hard, but he seemed like he cared. So he was answering your questions and also listening to any concerns you had attentively. I don't think that's a word. He was listening to your questions and your concerns attentively, but he made sure, I think he was doing this on purpose, I don't know, he made sure to never come off pushy. You never felt like he needed you to join the Air Force. He was just there to help you in your journey and answer whatever questions you had. And so I felt that was really refreshing compared to the heavy-handed push of the Marines, even though, like I said, I commend him on his delivery. So I felt that was refreshing and made it kind of easy to just talk to him and ask him questions. Additionally, pretty much it was just an overall culture that I felt that I was resonating with. The administrative female that buzzed me in, and eventually I just started creating a really good relationship with, or a rapport with her, during my subsequent visits to the Air Force recruiter's office. She was so motherly. She was so funny and nice, and she was a part of the overall experience on why I enjoyed going back to the recruiter's office, even though sometimes it was a hassle, because once you kind of say you're going to do something, then it just becomes bringing paperwork and doing this and doing that and getting measured and doing more tests. So it's not always fun, but she made it really pleasant. And like I said, I had a really good vibe with my recruiter. So that also made it easier to get through the meticulous part of enlisting in any of the branches, but of course the Air Force included. What I also thought about and what helped inform my decision was the reputation of the Air Force prioritizing learning and training. I was attracted to that. Also, when I was doing my research online, I liked that I felt as though the job prospects were better with the Air Force. And by that, I just mean when I was looking through the jobs that existed or were available across the branches, the Air Force just seemed to have a better selection. And so even though I didn't know what I may or may not qualify for yet, I wanted a large group, a large amount of options available to me. And kind of the final thing, maybe it was more coincidence based on who my recruiters are, but in regards to just having follow-up questions and ease of communication, the Air Force recruiter was the easiest to get in contact with, whether it be through cell or email. It just was easier to get a response, and so that weighed into my decision, because if I had a follow-up question for the Marine recruiter, even though he did get back to me eventually, it was a little bit slower than the Air Force recruiter. And so that, of course, made an imprint, or it made an impression that, I don't know, that the Air Force recruitment team is on their ish, and thus I won't get lost in the, array of recruits, and I will successfully get to basic training, hopefully in an acceptable timeline, because we both know that some of the forums say I may be waiting for a year. But these are kind of the things that led to my decision. I really want to leave you guys with some advice that I wish I had received, but at the end of the day, everything did work out. The advice is, don't meet with any recruiter until you have determined the type of life you want with the military, meaning what does it look like in your head? You don't need to know exact jobs or anything like that, but just, are you on the front lines? Are you in a plane? Are you on a boat? What comes to mind when you think being in the military? Not just the movies, but when you think about joining the military and you're like, what will my life be like? And what will it be like if I wasn't irritated and annoyed with what it is? So like, if I could have an ideal day of waking up and just kind of working in the military, whatever I want that to be, what would that be? Where do I see myself? Like I said, in an office, on a boat, in a plane, in some big military base? Am I in front of a computer, or am I doing something mechanical? Like, is there a huge engine in front of me? The pictures that naturally come to mind, especially if you have done a little bit of research, are really useful, because it will inform what branch may be for you and what type of job you may naturally kind of fall nicely into. Secondly, I think it might be really wise before you talk to a recruiter to do some Googling and define what you want to get from the military. You clearly know they want to get something out of you. That's why they're locking you in for a certain amount of years and telling you what to do. So they're going to get theirs, as they say. But I think it's important before you speak to a recruiter to just have 3 bullet points in your mind. Like, I'm interested in a bonus, so what jobs will give me a bonus? I'm interested in education. Like, maybe you want to get a bachelor's degree or higher education, or like a master's. Or possibly you just want to travel, or you want excitement. Having just 3 bullet points lined out really helps inform the conversation you're going to have with the recruiter. And the last thing, of course, is the opposite of that. is maybe have 2 or 3 things that you do not want from the military, or you do not want your experience to look like. Like I said, I don't want to be on a boat. So, to recap, the 3 things that it is really important for you to know before you speak to a recruiter includes: what does an ideal military experience look like in your head? What do you want to get from the military? And what are your hard passes, meaning the things that you really won't want to participate in, or just totally almost like cancel out you joining the military? Meaning if you were stuck in the desert, you'd be pissed. Knowing those 3 things will help you go into any recruitment office across any branch and really have a confident, informed conversation with the recruiter, and it becomes more of a partnership of how can we find the best fit, instead of you going in just saying, hey, I need a job, and them being able to say, well, here's a job you may not even like, but you're the one who begged for one. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please smash the subscribe button and smash the like button. I'm sorry, I just don't like that that's a trending term, so I feel pressured to use it. And also, if you'd like to get to kind of know me on a more casual basis, definitely check out my Instagram at mainman212. I will see you next Thursday.